Hello YouTube, back with another one of Eric's projects. Hey, I'm working on the 52 Styleline tonight. I'm going to do a valve adjustment on it. These old cars with the 216s, they had solid lifters, so every 10,000 miles or so you need to adjust the valves on them to keep them in good running condition. I recently did adjusted wheel bearings on this, kind of an odd adjustment from what I used to. 33 foot-pounds of torque on the spindle nut, and then back off the spindle nut until the next hole in the spindle nut, the castle nut, lines up to drop the pin in. Something I'm not used to, but hey, that's what the manual calls for, and that's what these cars need. So tonight we're going to adjust the valves on this. First time I've ever done it. I've already taken the two nuts off of the valve cover. I'll show you that. And we'll pop the valve cover and see what a 216 looks like on the inside. Here we are on the 216. Valve cover has one nut here, one nut here. That's all that holds this on, just a little cap nut. Let's pop this off here. No, it doesn't come off that easy. I had it off before I started this. Alright, here we are. The valve train of the 216. Shaft mounted rockers. Looks like we got an oiler there. Now to me this thing looks like it's in pretty good shape besides the busted up cork gasket that's causing the oil leak. So not too bad for a 62-year-old car. Granted, it's just over 55,000 miles on it now. But we are going to do a valve adjustment. One of the main things you're going to need for this is the shop manual for these cars. This is an original Chevrolet passenger car shop manual, 1949 to 53 models with a 1954 supplement. Now we're going to find the valve adjustment procedure on section 6, page 29, I believe. There we are. Valve adjustments. If you have the Power Glide, that'll be in a different section. If you don't have one of these manuals, you can find it online. There's a website called ChevyOldCarManualProject.com. There's many manuals for these old vehicles, brochures, service guides, and everything. You can find all this shop manual entirely online. I just like to have one in paper so I can carry with me, have in the garage. I just really like the nostalgic of these old things. So let's get reading the instructions and see what this thing says. Alright, well, confusing as it may be, section 629 refers you to section 69. Valve timing, valve adjustments. Page 610. We get into remove rocker arm cover, run engine at fast idle, approximately 600 RPM. So this is running the engine with no valve cover on it. Something new for me, but hey, I'm going to do what the book says. Tighten all the bolts, lubricate the stems. Here's your clearances. Intake 6 to 8 thousandths, exhaust 13 to 15 thousandths. And we got my helpers. Never too early to start them playing with cars. They love the Rock Auto magnets. Alright, here it is. Engine running. No valve cover. No mess. See the little drip system there? Splashing some oil on the tray. Don't get caught in the fan. So I'll run this for a bit to get it up to operating temperature, and we'll adjust valves. Alright, again with the valve cover off and the engine nice and warmed up, what we're doing is we rolled the engine over to number 1 cylinder, top dead center, And to know if you're there, Don't know if you can see it down there. Let's see. Right in this window, passenger side of the bell housing, there's a pointer. And as you turn the engine over by hand, you'll see a little triangle or a steel ball bearing or something come up to that pointer. When that lines up with the pointer, that's your top dead center on number 1 cylinder. To verify that, you come over to your distributor. Let's pop the cap off the distributor. This is number 1 spark plug wire, and rotor is pointing where number 1 is, right here, right there. So we are on number 1 cylinder, top dead center. Now to do that, it's kind of a trick. I don't know what Chevy's goal was with this, but whatever. On the crankshaft itself, there is this oddly tapered piece that's cast into the pulley. I'm sure it's for tool number J something something something. Either way, big flathead screwdriver, pry bar works, but you'll have to roll it around until you get the engine up top dead center. Some things say turn the fan to turn the engine over with the spark plug out. My fan just spins in my belt. I don't know, maybe my belt's a little loose, not sure. Just worried about over tightening it and hurting my generator bearings. So anyway, that's how you turn the engine over, with that little thing right there. Big flathead screwdriver, big pry bar. I used a combination of both to get the engine up to number 1 cylinder, top dead center. So we're there. Let's check. Let's check the tolerances. Let's see here. Can you see it there? Whoa. Sorry about all that. Alright. Your first one here is your exhaust. The exhaust should be 18 thousandths. Intake should be 6 thousandths. Boy, look at that flop already. Okay, got my 18 thousandths feeler gauge here. That fits in there nice and tight. Exhaust number 1's good. See how loose that is on the intake? That's my 6 thousandths. That intake needs adjustment. Let's adjust it. Okay, what we're going to do to adjust it, we're going to take a 5/8 box end wrench. We're going to loosen up the jam nut. We're going to take a standard flat blade screwdriver and adjust the adjuster bolt until we accomplish our 6 thousandths on the side there. Already a little better. There we go. Nice and snug. Alright, now that we have our 6 thousandths here, we need to tighten this back up. I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to tighten the adjuster nut. Now I'm going to recheck. Nice and snug. You don't want it loose, but you don't want to have to shove the thing through there. Perfect. That one is adjusted up. Now just continue on that same pattern to do the rest of them. Get each cylinder to the top dead center on the compression stroke. Once you're at top dead center on the compression stroke, 18 thousandths exhaust, 6 thousandths intake. The way this 6-cylinder is lined out is exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, 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 intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. So, might sound a little more complicated than what it is. It's just more time consuming than anything. 18 thousandths exhaust, 6 thousandths intake, the whole way down. Once you've set number 1 exhaust and intake, 18 thousandths and 6 thousandths, you'll leave the engine just like it is, and you'll work down the line in this order. Number 3, which is an intake. Number 5, which is an exhaust. Number 7, which is an intake. And number 9, which is an exhaust. Now that's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and on down the line. So you do 1 and 2, then you do 3, 5, 7, 9. And from there, you'll stop because you'll need to make another adjustment on the engine itself. What we're going to do now, I've got those first set adjusted, 1 and 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, intakes at 6,000, exhausts at 18 thousandths. We're going to turn the engine one complete revolution until that little ball or that little triangle lines up with that pointer again in the bell housing. Now when that lines up again, number 6 will be on top dead center, and we'll do it just like we did with number 1 on top dead center, except we'll just go back to front. We'll set number 6, and then we'll work backwards on the valves that we hadn't got done yet, and then we'll be done. Alright, we've made one complete revolution on the engine. You can't see what that little mark is back up there lined up with the pointer. Now number 6 cylinders at top dead center, and we'll set it just like we did the front, 6 and 18. Work our way back towards the front on the valves we did not get, and we'll be done setting valves. Well, there we have it. All 6 cylinders are adjusted. Exhaust 18 thousandths, intake 6 thousandths. Now the procedure I just showed you is not in that shop manual. Even though that manual covers a lot of other good things on these cars. I believe it was speedpro.com. Let me double check. Speedprint.com is where that procedure came from. Works out very well. So remember, number 1 cylinder, top dead center, do half the valves. Number 6 cylinder, top dead center, do the other half of the valves. Now if you get confused of which valves are which, you can always count them. But also the intake it's like a riser. The valve looks much taller. Where on the exhaust, the rocker arm is sitting directly on top of almost the valve spring. Where the intake, the rocker arm is sitting 5/8 of an inch, ½ inch higher than the valve spring. Easy way to keep it straight. Well, before we stick the valve cover back on, I think I'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Make sure it does start. After adjusting the valves, first time I've done it on this car, but shouldn't be an issue. We ran it once without the valve cover. Should fire up again, and maybe it'll even run a little better. Helps to put the spark plug back in and put the distributor cap back on. Let's try this again. Oh yeah! I don't know if you can tell on the video, but this thing is much quieter than it was before. It was pretty clickety-clackety, which is what made me want to do this. Very pleased. Now to clean this valve cover surface up, little trick my dad taught me. You know, I used to buy cans of brake cleaner and scrub, and you know, stuff gets expensive, and I do things myself. I'm kind of cheap. Isopropyl alcohol, 91%. The stuff cleans amazing. Dries good, dries quick, no residue, nothing left over. I use this for brake rotors, brake drums, all my gasket sealing surfaces. Isopropyl alcohol and a green scratch pad will do wonders for cleaning up oily surfaces or surfaces that were pre-gasketed that you need to throw another gasket on. Just remember that. Cheap and effective. Well, this finishes up another one of Eric's projects, and hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did both, just working on the thing. I love working on these. Anyway, got this car prepped. We checked the wheel bearings, brakes, valve adjustment, checked the oil. Ready to go. Taking her on a 300-mile trip tomorrow. Well, 300 miles round trip for the wife and I's anniversary, and we bought this car to drive and enjoy, not just to sit in the garage and look at. So you guys enjoy, drive your cars, have fun. God bless you.